urban, get you out of little pinches bag. So I'll go for it now. So obviously, as I said, it's an active shooter bag with Fly Industries, I think they call them, Molly water bottle pouch that is obviously just mollied onto the side of it. I did have this attached to the side of my waist belt when I did that long walk, so I could carry an extra water bottle, and I found that really handy. Again, it's not really, it doesn't look too out of place when you're carrying that in, you know, in a public place, and why should it really? Quite comfortable. It's got a nice long strap on it, and it's also, what I liked about it is it's got a waist strap on the back there that I sort of just keep folded around the front, but it's nice when you're cycling, you can have that around your waist and it stops the bag from sort of flapping about, or if you've got to run somewhere. But this is obviously aimed at sort of being an urban get home bag, I guess you'd call it. Got a few survival items in there, but it is mainly to get you out of pinches in a sort of urban rule of law environment. So to start with, I might as well put the bag, I guess, like this so you can see what's inside. Okay, right. So first of all, keep some tobacco in there. I use amber leaf, and I also carry papers, Rizzlers, and you know, filter tips, all that sort of stuff in that bag. Carry a screwdriver, one of those BMW folding screwdriver, flippable screwdrivers, because obviously I've got a Leatherman's and a Swiss Army knife, but it's nice to have a dedicated screwdriver if you want to sort of do a bit of prying or whatever, and I found it to be very handy and quite lightweight. Let me sit that down. Oh, what else? Okay. Oh, yeah. Right, what else have I got in there? I have also got this lip balm. This is no ordinary lip balm, guys, and I highly recommend you get some. It is, my wife sorts me out with this sort of stuff, but it's called Elizabeth Arden something or other, but I'll put the name in the description. But it is obviously a woman's product, but it's some sort of medicated, creamy, whatever stuff that lasts a year, for a year apparently. And the idea is, if you've got cracked lips, if you've got a cut on your hand, if you've been chafed down on your legs, whatever, if you've got any cuts, scrapes, insect bites, just a little dab of this, guys. And I don't know what they've got in it, but literally overnight you will heal. I have never ever had a cream like that. It's not Vaseline, it's not anything like that. It's a medicated sort of balm. Highly recommended, and I'll put the link in the description. So there's that. Also carry a pencil eraser, because sometimes when I'm doing working out on a wall, a line might extend past the cabinet I've installed or something like that, and it's nice to just use an eraser just to rub out your sort of working out lines, or obviously when you're using your paper. I've also got a Phoenix PD35 tactical flashlight. These take lithium batteries, they take the 18650 batteries, or CR123 batteries, two of them, and it is a fantastic flashlight. Since moving on to these lithium batteries, these 18650s, I've really gotten rid of a lot of my AA sort of stuff. Obviously AA batteries are easily found and all the rest of it, but these are performance batteries, and really they have not let me down since. You know, I don't buy the cheap Chinese ones, I buy expensive, the Panasonic jobbies, and they are brilliant. Honestly, I cannot enthuse about these enough, guys. I've done away with my head torch and all sorts, and I literally use this with a head strap. It's got lots of modes. It's got a slightly self-defense head to it, but it's 1,000 lumens, so it's a very bright flashlight. But it's also got lots of modes, which will I'll go into maybe on another video. But when I take this, camping and stuff like that, I literally don't use one battery, and it's even though I carry spares, and it literally lasts all night. I've got that strapped to my head, and on a lower setting, it lasts all night, and I've got full confidence in it. So that's the PD35 by Phoenix. Also, if you speak to Charlie, on myphoenix.com, I believe it is. Charlie will sort you out 10% if you say I sent you. He's a good man. I've also got this Night Eyes little flashlight sort of holder, which is what I use when I'm out in the wilds, and literally it's really handy. You just slide it in like that, and you can wear it as a head torch, which I thought was quite neat. So that's that. That's pretty much it for the front pouch, other than I've got another pencil. And I've also got this. I found it in some of my mementos box the other day. It's a silver pen made by Yard OLED. It's like a British brand, and it's solid sterling silver. Now we all know the uses for silver. It's you know, you can use it to purify water, and it's you know, it's good for your body. So I just think having it in and around is just a nice thing. I was just going to put it back in the mementos box, but I thought, you know what, why not carry it? It's got some intrinsic value being silver. You know, who knows, it could be a barter item should things go completely pear-shaped. But what's the point in keeping nice things hidden away in boxes? You might as well use them, right? But I thought that was really neat, and I'm starting to really like this pen. So that's the pen. Okay. I also carry, I got it from the Ray Mears website. It is a huge bandana. I can't remember the actual measurements, but it is absolutely huge, guys. Ray Mears uses it like as a towel, like when he goes away, and it, you know, it is really big. I don't know. I'll get a measure on that actually. Okay. It is. It's like 37 inches square, which is obviously big for a bandana. Which is nice. It's a nice bit of material. You can obviously rip it down to make char cloth and all sorts, but a cotton bandana, you know, folded over many times and placed inside over a bottle, and you can sort of pre-filter water to a pretty decent degree. So you know, it's highly recommended that you carry a bit of material with you like that. But you can get them on the Ray Mears website. I've struggled to find a bigger bandana than that. So you know, you can use it as a tourniquet, you can use it for wounds, whatever. As you saw already, I also carry a tape measure made by Stanley, 5 metre jobby, does inches and centimetres. Obviously when I'm working, I like a metric only tape, so you can get the you know, the graduations both sides when you want to measure accurately. Because I'm a carpenter, obviously this comes in handy. I've obviously got one in my toolbox, but I find if I don't carry an extra one, I'll lose the one I've got, and then I'm in the up shit's creek. So that's the measuring tape. Also carry a bit of deodorant. I was carrying this non-aluminium stuff that was in a glass bottle, but I did find that you ended up smelling pretty soon after using it, and I was constantly using it, and it was like £5 a bottle. So I've gone back to the bad for you stuff. I'm incredibly sorry, but it works in terms of stops me from stinking throughout the day, so I carry that. Sue me. I also carry some note paper, but which I've covered with sort of gaffer tape and sort of parcel tape to just protect it, and it's the square variety stuff. Square variety purely because I find for working out scales and all sorts, this suits me really well. And I use that a lot, you know, any sort of little ideas you have throughout the day, do you know what I mean, write them down because you're going to forget them. So that's a nice little notepad there. Okay, there's loads of stuff in here, guys. This is it's going to be like a TARDIS, this bag. I carry a couple of cough sweets. You know, obviously if you've got a sore throat and you're feeling a bit hoarse, these can sort you right out and put you back on course. Excuse me, it rhymed. I also carry some Hessian or jute, I think it's Hessian, twine. String is also always useful for measuring weird shapes, for obviously tying things down, whatever. But we all know that if you split this stuff up, the cordage, it goes really fine into smaller cordage, but you really fluff it up and you can strike that with a fire steel, and you've got the makings of a fire. And that is often the hardest part. It's going from the spark to the kindling part of the fire. Do you know what I mean? So something that's going to give it a little rush of heat is always welcome. Your tinder is always welcome. So that is a ball of, let's say it's Hessian twine. That's just carried in one of these little money pouches, a little black leather thing that I sometimes keep changing as well. Okay, that's that. This is a little waterproof bag which I shall go into in a second, so I'll leave that there as a reminder. I carry a piece of plastic from, you know, those sort of drinking canisters, or, you know, big canisters of sort of, you know, chemicals or whatever. And it's just a really flexible bit of plastic that I find useful for various things. For, you know, if you're putting something down in the wet, that works really well. But I mainly used it from, this is actually from the fire brigade. I used to keep this in my pocket. And when we were trying to gain entry somewhere, I would try and slip the lock with this before we obviously used a sledgehammer, because sledgehammer usually always worked. But this was a nice way of not having to damage someone's door frame. So it's a multitude of uses, and it doesn't cost anything, so I recommend you carry that as well in your kit. Right, inside an old tobacco pouch, I keep, right at the bottom of the bag, I just keep, it's almost like a makeshift medical pouch, let's say. I keep some latex gloves, pure and simply if you're going to have to get your hands dirty, you're going to change a tyre, you're going to give someone first aid, it's good to get, you know, protect your hands, let's say. Because this is sort of my place where I keep things dry, I also keep some green tea, weirdly. A couple of sachets of sugar. I keep a couple of Nescafes, because it's nice to have a little brew if you're feeling down. I also carry some of these miniature filters for cigarettes. But I guess in a pinch, you know, you could use the tip of one of them to clean a wound, I guess. Also some more Rizzlers that you saw in my wallet. All goes together. I keep a few tissues, obviously, if you're wiping up a mess or, again, cleaning a wound. And then lastly, just various meds. So we're talking basic ibuprofen. I keep, what's this? Some hay fever tablets, so allergy antihistamine tablets, and more ibuprofen. I guess I could keep some Imodium and bits like that in there, but I found I've never in my life used anything like that. I just, you know, if you've got diarrhea, you've got diarrhea at the end of the day. It would be nice to be able to stop that, and maybe I should actually put some in there, but it's never something I've ever suffered from. Touch wood. Okay, so that is, let's say, the medical sort of pouch. Okay. Right, I keep a small length of paracord, mainly to fix my bootlaces if needs be, but it's also good to be used as the string for a bow drill set. Being proper paracord, it's also got the outer sheath with 7 inner strands going on inside there, so lots of cordage there, guys, if you can be bothered to break it down if needs be. But paracord is very handy. Obviously, I don't even need to talk about that. People know how handy that stuff is. Okay, I also keep, because this is an urban set, like I say, it's not really got your tarps and you know, survival stuff like that in it. It's more to help you out in an urban setting. It's one of these multi-keys. It's got various attachments on it, from, I guess, you know, like the sort of radiator tap types to weird sort of wonderful triangular keys. But, you know, if it was a case of being able to turn a tap on that had its, you know, lever taken off of it, you know, for security reasons, whatever. If this got you the water you needed, or the access to a cupboard, whatever, to get a fire extinguisher, then I think it's worth carrying. But also on a note, you know, if you attach a bit of string to that, and you can chuck a line to someone should you need be, because it's got some weight to it, almost like a mini grappling hook, let's say. Not that you're going to lift yourself up on it, but it's a bit of access that you might not otherwise have. So that's the key. Sorry, yeah, you get these from Tesco's in the sort of haberdashery pound sort of section. It's only cost £1. Toothpicks. I carry around a set of toothpicks, obviously because I'm a carpenter. If someone wanted, just a very quick fix, or you've pre-drilled a hole, or you're moving a screw along, to stuff the hole with a couple of toothpicks to prevent your new pilot hole from wandering. It's just spare wood, isn't it? Obviously, again, you could use it with your Hessian twine to aid you in starting a fire, or obviously because I've got tombstone teeth, this helps me stop looking like an idiot in front of customers. So that's the toothpicks. Again, urban kit. So I've actually doctored one of these pry bars. Got a little sheath I made for it out of some of that gaffer tape and some other cloth tape, and I paracord wrapped the handle. Just again, I use this for door repairs. When I want to lift the door just a tiny touch, I literally wedge that under the door and I can just step on it, and it allows me to put the first few screws in when I'm rehanging a door, let's say. But it's also good if you don't want to break your knife, obviously, so it's nice to have a dedicated sort of pry bar. And I've slightly sharpened the edge so you can almost sort of chisel with it a touch, I guess. But yeah, this had a curved end on it. I've just angle grinded the end off, so you can actually beat on the end of that if you need to be. But handy bit of metal. You never know when you're going to need that to sort of gain access or get yourself out of a mess. Open up a set of lift doors, whatever. Handy. That's that. A few other bits, guys. Okay. Right, I carry one of these, which is a pen in itself, but it is really bought as a spare lead for my other pen, because obviously if I run out of ink, that pen is useless, so it's good to carry a spare. But you can flip that and it is a pen in itself, so that's that. I've also got a diamond honing rod, which is good for just putting a very quick edge on a knife. I mean, it's very coarse, and that would be the sort of first stage I would use to put an edge on, like a badly chipped edge on a knife. And then I would move on to this, which is something I doctored. It's one of those chef's diamond steels. It used to have a handle and it was double the size, and you'd hold it and then you'd sharpen your knife, because I used to be a chef. But this is such a fine and nice, I mean, it doesn't even feel like it would do anything, but it's so fine, you can really get a nice edge on your blades with that. It's one step down from honing an edge with a leather strop, I'd say. This is just a nice, really fine sharpener. That is good because I picked an oval shape because you can get slightly into the serrations on a serrated blade. So that is really handy. And also carry a few bits that came with my Leathermans. Again, they're not, it's not a very comprehensive set, but it's better to have these than not, I'd say. Okay. Then in this little, I think it was a headphone speakers kit. Keep various things in here, which I'll go into now. Okay, for this little extras kit, I carry some more flints and wicks for the Zippo lighter that I carry in my pocket. I carry one of these eyeglass, the eyeglass things, I can't remember what you call them, jeweler's loupes, I guess. Excuse me. But it's really handy for seeing splinters. Just the other day I was looking at pieces of gold and I was trying to see the actual hallmark on it, and without this I wouldn't have had much luck. But it's also, I guess, an aid for starting fires, because you can obviously focus the sun rays and get a fire going with that. So there's a jeweler's loupe. I I also carry a small piece of fat wood, just a very few small shavings of this, and that will take a spark extremely well. Again, that will complement the Hessian. Just a small bit of that. Excuse me, I've got dry mouth. What else? I carry another pencil eraser. I carry the small end of a toothbrush, just for cleaning items and getting in places, you know, cleaning a knife out and stuff like that. Obviously not for brushing your teeth. Inside there it's just wrapped in a load of earthing electrical tape. Is a lithium AAA battery that obviously complements the torch I have on my keychain. A small piece of leather for stropping a knife. I mean, that's all you need really in a pinch. But you can also cut strips of that, and it's like a, you know, leather thonging that you can repair other items with as well. Oops. Here I carry some of these. They're actually imitations, but they work just as well. My actual, what are they called, the silver gripper tweezers. The original ones I bought, which cost me about £5, actually broke, so I figured I'm not going to go down that route again. It's a cheaper steel, but they still do the job, you know. It's a very fine tipped set of tweezers for picking up splinters, of which I get a lot of through my job being a carpenter. Right, so there's the tweezers. I also carry a very small piece of straw. You never know when that might come in handy. I also carry another fire still that I've just wrapped with some tape. In a pinch, if you use a lighter on a fire still, not that I recommend this, and you get one of the ends starts to glow, and you chuck that on the floor, it will go off like a firework, guys. And I'm telling you that, you know, I've actually used it before with small little flints, and you know, if you need to attract some attention, that is the way to do it. It makes a big gush of sparks, let's say, but I highly don't recommend you do it because it's dangerous. All right. I carry a small little speaker magnet. It's just handy for picking bits and pieces up. You know, if you've dropped a load of nails in some grass and you're working around a kids area, you need to make sure that you're picking them up. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't want to leave any surprises someone's going to hurt themselves on. So that's a little magnet that obviously you can use with a needle to magnetise and create a little makeshift compass with. Carry a spare couple of screws, just a variety of such. You never know when you're going to need to screw something in, hang something up. I also carry, yeah, they're really small, but they're like fix your sort of sunglasses size screws. You know, the sort of screws that you never know where to find when you need one. I just thought I'd chuck a couple in the side. They literally stick with the magnet, so I don't lose them, and they just stay there. Probably never use them, but you never know. Also carry a little bit more Dacron cord because it's just so handy. A little spool of stainless steel sort of picture hanging wire. Again, for making repairs and all sorts. I use wire quite a bit. It's once you poke a hole in something, a wire can be used to sort of stitch things up, and it's quite strong, obviously. And inside there, another one of these sort of keepsakes. I keep an actual lighter. It's like one of those peanut lighters, which are very handy in themselves. The fuel I've had in this for absolutely years, and I can't believe that it's still going. But if you really need a quick light, that is the way to go. Okay. On the cordage front, it's not paracord, but it is actual climbing accessory cord, which is, in my opinion, superior to paracord in terms of the knots actually stay as knots and they don't stretch and pull out a bit like paracord does. It is of a lighter braking load, but diameter for diameter, I do believe climbing accessory cord is takes a bigger weight than the paracord. So, like I say, this could be used in conjunction with this to, if you wanted to hang something up somewhere or whatever. It's just gives you more options, so I carry it. So some cordage there. I carry a small piece of rubber. If you're lighting a fire, a couple of strips of this chucked onto the flame, it melts nice and readily and it helps with the fire. But you know, cutting strips of this off is also nice to make sort of like makeshift washers, all sorts. You know, rubber is very handy and it's a nice decent quality piece. Because obviously I'm a smoker, I carry a few more Zippo flints, handy to have. You never know when your better half is going to get caught short, so I actually carry a spare tampon in there. But obviously for the fire lighting department, tampons work extremely well, as you know. But also wound cleaning, it's a very good way of carrying compressed cotton wool, I find. You know, if someone was to get shot, you can actually use these in the bullet hole, I've heard. Not that I've known anyone that's been shot. Weirdly, I've actually been shot, but that was with an air rifle, and that's a whole different story. So, a tampon. And then I carry another one of the keepsakes. You get them, if you don't want to wait to have one delivered off of eBay, Rolson actually do one. So you'll see them in sort of pound stores and petrol stations for only about £1.50 or whatever. But I carry another one of these, and inside there, just more of the same that I carry on my keys. But this time I've got a safety pin in there. Safety pin, a little birthday candle, another needle and thread, and some wicks for the Zippo. Yeah, so it's just more bits and pieces, more handy items that you never know when you might need. Okay, back on the cordage front, I've actually got like a sewing machine bobbin I pinched off my mum, and that's got a zip tie just keeping everything sort of together, but it's got more of this Dacron, but a thicker variety, so it's even stronger than this. It's I believe it's kite string or something like that, but it's very, very, very strong. And if you want an even stronger repair, I recommend that. So that's that. Another brand new set of flints for the Zippo. It's probably overkill, but I hate not having my lighter working. So, carry a bit of card, a few more rizzers in there. I carry a pipe cleaner, because pipe cleaners are very handy for cleaning out, you know, tubing or hard to access places. Just a white pipe cleaner. And I carry a few more, what do you call it? Okay. That's nearly it, guys, but I've also got a Leatherman Charge multi-tool. But obviously I don't carry this everywhere because it's got a lock knife on it. When I'm going to work, this is what I use. But I've done a few mods on it, namely the the lanyard clip, the extra one that fits in. I just got it bent. I bent it with a set of pliers, because I find when you got the lanyard on there and you want to just use this screwdriver, it used to get in the way and foul it, but now I can use it without unclipping this and potentially losing it. So just an easy little mod there to do. Just, can you even see that? Just bent it side on. Nothing else much to say about the Charge other than, yeah, great little multi-tool. I highly recommend them. Yeah, and a few more pens and pencils, plain and simply because I'm always losing them. Right, so that is nearly it, other than a Night Eyes carabiner, that if I need to clip anything to the bag quickly on the outside, I can do that. And also, I keep a clean canteen. I think it's the 800ml. Yeah, 800ml bottle. I was really, really impressed with these guys. I don't use it as my main water bottle for boiling in when I'm going out to the woods, I've got a stainless steel Nalgene for that, which I believe is of superior quality in my opinion, because it's just that little bit thicker, the gauge of stainless steel, so I trust it a little bit more, taking the abuse of being in the fire. This is more of a sort of thin, compact version. It's actually a little bit taller as well, so to me it's not as great for just nestling in the fire, which I like to do with my other one. This is more sort of socially acceptable looking water bottle that also fits inside the cage on my bike. But why I was impressed with these is the actual the quality of the stainless steel is exceptional. It's 1810 or 1610, which is very good stainless steel. Oh no, sorry, 18.8 stainless steel. And what I was impressed with is the actual bottle. So the actual water never touches any plastic. The inside of that is stainless steel too, and it's got a silicone, I believe, gasket. So you're not actually touching anything to this outer sort of black hard plastic, and the water tastes amazing with it. That coupled with the gravity water filter, the British Berkeyfield that I use, makes an excellent complement. Do you know what I mean? The water's not really getting anywhere near plastic, which I like. Obviously, in a sort of grid down situation, I can boil in it. But for now, I'm just keeping this as my sort of nice everyday water bottle, and it's good at helping me keep track of my water intake. You know, I know that I'm aiming to drink 3 full ones of these a day to keep sort of on par with where I need to be with my hydration. So that is that. So, and before I forget, I told you there's a lot of gear in this bag, guys. Some of which will stay in the bottom of the bag for a long time, but there'll be a day where I'll come to need and use these items, and I'll be absolutely gutted if I don't have one of these bits and pieces on me. So I always make sure I've got this when I'm going anywhere in particular. I keep a charger for the Samsung. It's like one of those nice little foldable plugs, which I believe is a 2 amp charger, so it's good for an iPad as well, or whatever you need. And I keep like a little lens cleaning cloth in there just to stop any damage to the prongs. I also keep a little X-Tar charger, which comes with this little cable, for the 18650 cells, which is a really nice way of charging those cells. I think it goes up to 1 amp, so it's not particularly fast, but it's ample for charging a 3.7 volt battery. I think it's I can't remember how many milliamps and how many amp hours it has, but like I say, that torch is a beast. So this is the way I keep it topped up in tip-top condition. That's that. I keep one of these small little cases for the batteries, where I keep a spare charged 18650 and 2 CR123A, which are non-rechargeable, but they are ready to go, and they've got good shelf life on them, so they'll keep their charge for a long time. I keep that in a little waterproof, almost like a mimicked lock and lock case, which you can get a couple of these on eBay for £2 or whatever, and they're really nice quality actually, so I highly recommend them. I keep a little USB stick. I don't keep anything on it. I probably should, some identification, maybe some useful PDFs and bits and pieces, but it's a nice compact and lightweight SanDisk one that's only 16 gig, which is nothing by today's standards, I know, but better to have it than not. It weighs nothing. Okay, inside this, it's a waterproof bag, but I'm very conscious of, because it's electronics, I want to keep everything in tip-top condition. I keep one of these silica gel bags, just to keep any moisture sort of off the electronics and that. I also keep some spare gaskets and a spare switch for the PD 35 tactical torch, just so I can keep that. That's my main light source. I'm going to keep that in tip-top condition. And then finally, I think you've seen this before in another video, is a RAV Power. It is the 12,000 milliamp hour external battery pack. Very simple, very simple design, literally plug and play. You press the button to get the reading of how charged it is. It's got 2 charging ports, so I can literally be charging a GoPro and my phone at the same time. It's a beast. It really does last a good long time, and if you're away from power, it's the way to go. Also charges with a micro USB, which comes in here. So whenever I see a power source, I can plug in instantly, and it's got that through charging capability. So say you wanted to charge both your phone and this, and you had a power supply, i.e. a wall power supply, you would plug this into the wall, and then you could plug your phone into this, and it's capable of through charging, so it will charge both this and your phone at the same time without having to use two separate plugs, because this has only got the one, if you see what I'm saying. Alright guys, so I'll put this away for you very quickly, and I'll show you. Sorry, I run out of storage there, so basically I'm going to put it all away, just to show you that it all does fit into that bag, and thank you for sticking around guys. That's it then guys. Get into the habit, building your muscle memory up, where you're keeping things. And that's it. Tiny, but with a lot of capability. Thank you for watching.